So today I want to talk about cultural influence on finding truth. There's obviously lots of people and religions out there that are all saying, come follow us, we're the only way, this is truth, and that's the only way in the world. It's very convenient and easy, and if you're watching this, you're most likely either going to leave me a bad comment or you are going to understand this because something inside of you has told you that this isn't true, that there's a deeper meaning and there's more truth in the world just than somebody's word that this is the absolute truth. And so either way you take this video is fine with me. And so I just want to talk about cultural influence on our decision making and who we are. And this is the thing that I don't think a lot of people understand. And the cultural influences that are on us create this trance. They create a way of being in the world, through the way that our culture says that we're supposed to do things. So I'll give you a quick example. One of the things that I've seen happen many times in my life is, where somebody's either a man of God or they're out being a self-help guru or one of these things, and they're getting paid to help people out. And people think, well, they shouldn't get paid for those kind of things. And, those are the kind of things that they should be given for free and this kind of thing. Well, that's not the way that it works in our culture. In our culture, we give significance to monetary things. So we give significance and value to money. So I'll give you an example of another culture. The Native American cultures, where there was a holy man within the tribe, people would go to the holy man to get their spiritual nourishment and that sort of thing. And that holy person got his significance from that tribe culture. In our culture, we give that authority to people who are gurus. And we give them to people who sell millions of books. When I went into being an entrepreneur, I study all of this. This is anecdotal evidence that shows that celebrity is the #1 marketing strategy that you can have. Just look at the professional ball players that sit awkwardly in a car commercial. The only reason they are there is not because they understand how a Honda is better than a Toyota. They're there because of their name and their face and their cultural influence on how it's going to cause you to buy that product. And so it isn't a matter that we go and try to become anti-culture, because if we do that, then we're still in the trance because we're using that culture to do the opposite. And so that's one of our tendencies to do that. But in truth, we can just create new eyes to see the world and see what is authentic. What is authentic? Why that word wouldn't come out, I don't know, but I might actually leave this in here. So you have to actually create new eyes to go out into the world to see. It's nice to wake up and be able to see truth, because what ends up happening is that you don't have to go to a celebrity to know which car to drive and to make decisions in this world. You should go to people who help you see the truth about yourself, because truth is in every one of us. I don't believe that I have any more truth than access to any more truth than anybody else does. What I had to come to know is where I was being influenced by culture, where I was being influenced by my past, and where I was being influenced, with my own motivations and my attitude. And then I've got new eyes, and now I look at the world differently. I don't go out and look for John Elway to sell me a car. I go out into the world and I go to people that I trust, and then I know for myself that this is the thing that's going to work in my life. So that's on a very consumeristic. So the people that I go out to look for significance, I don't do it because somebody's got $1,000 workshop. I have new eyes that I can go out and see people who are practicing vulnerability, and they're practicing authenticity. They're practicing things that our culture does not want us to do. We love it and we're fascinated by it in truth, but we're scared of it, and we try to avoid it as much as possible. And so I'm able to go out into the world and quote people who don't sell millions of books or have, it's because I know that they got their information from a deeper source. They connected to their soul. And what happens with this awareness, it's awareness that is really what I'm talking about. It's not realizing because it's a little scary when you actually understand and you start to realize how baked into your everyday thought process is our cultural norm. The first thing we want to do is escape it. But in truth, really what we want to do is become aware of it. And then we change our own behavior to fit it, to fit who we should be in the world. How do we find our true voice within this world? And it really, what I know is that authenticity is the one thing that you begin to recognize. And people will get their significance from being vulnerable and trying to be themselves. And then what ends up happening is, like in some Christian cultures, basically it's a convenience to just say that anything outside of Christianity is a false god. So anybody that practices anything else is a false god. That makes it's very convenient. Then basically they have to do no work. All they have to do is work within their own confines. And even if you're not Christian, you're not off the hook, because there are just as many people practicing the same convenience outside of Christianity and in different religions, and even outside of religion. People want convenience. It's one of our cultural influences. So I'm not going after Christians at all, because that was just an example to help articulate what I'm trying to get across. And so what ends up happening as you decide that authenticity and you becoming the most authentic expression of yourself, what you end up doing along the way is you create a crap detector. And normally the crap detector doesn't have anything to do with your mind process that's being influenced by our culture, but rather it's a deeper knowing of what's true and what's not true. And that's outside of the confines of what our cultural norms are. So I hope you have you got something from this. Please leave a comment or ask questions. I'm happy to expound on this either in another video or by email if you have questions or if you want to contribute. I appreciate it.